What's good, people? We back with another video today in the Lions franchise, and the moment of truth is finally here. Did our Lions make the playoffs? Well, let's take a look at the standings here. The Vikings secure the 1 seed. The Arizona Cardinals are the 2 seed with 11 wins. The Cowboys are the 3 seed. The Bucks are the 4 seed. And the Lions did not make the playoffs because the Packers, Eagles, and 49ers all took the wild card spots, which means our Lions are the only team in the NFC that went above 500 to miss the playoffs. That's a tough pill to swallow, man. We needed the Giants to beat the Eagles week 17, and they just didn't do it. So we ended up missing. I didn't cover the AFC playoff standings practically the entire season, so let's do that right now. The Broncos absolutely demolished the rest of the league with 15 wins en route to the 1 seed. The Bills are the 2 seed. The Jaguars, a surprise 3 seed, led by Trevor Lawrence. And the Bengals are the 4 seed with the Chiefs at 5, the Titans at 6, and then the Raiders sneaking in the playoffs at 10 and 7 as well. But this is where it gets crazy. The AFC had 4 teams with 9 wins that didn't make the playoffs in the Browns, Steelers, Colts, and the Patriots. Absolutely insane. It was a very top-heavy year. Like, there weren't that many bad teams. As we'll take a look at the draft standings here. The Seahawks have the number 1 pick. Our rival Bears are at 3. Chargers 2, Texans 4, Ravens 5, Dolphins 6, the Commanders at 7, and then the Rams, who we own their first round pick, we will have their pick at 8 overall. So maybe that's a quarterback, maybe it's a corner. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We also have our own pick, which is 14th overall based on these standings. So we have 2 picks in the top 14. Going to be very interesting to see what we do with those. Now we move on to the playoff games where the Bills absolutely demolished the Raiders wildcard weekend. Josh Allen did his thing. Derek Carr kind of did his thing. Yeah, Bills take care of business. We all expect the Bills to be one of the best teams in the AFC. Stephon Diggs absolutely torched them with 130 yards, 11 receptions, and a touchdown as well. He's a stud. We all know he's a stud. But yeah, it was a good year from the Raiders. We'll get into their stats a little bit later when I cover the rest of the team stats. And how about this? Damar Hamlin actually got an interception in this game. How cool is that, given everything that's gone on in real life with him? So shout out to him and his family. Moving on now to the Arizona Cardinals, taking care of business against the rival 49ers, where Trey Lance, in his first game in the playoffs, did not play well. Hollywood Brown and that connection with Kyler Murray absolutely dominated. And the Arizona Cardinals were the 2 seed practically the entire year, felt like. So it's not really a surprise to see them get past wildcard weekend and into the divisional round. The Tennessee Titans upset the division-winning Jaguars in overtime. This game must have been a fun watch, man. Derrick Henry did what the king does, 126 yards rushing. But how about Hassan Haskins, the backup, with 2 rushing touchdowns? The Tennessee Titans are always that team that you're not expecting to be much, but they always come out on top. And look at Adam Humphries, 115 yards and a touchdown for him. Yeah, the Titans always get it from somewhere, and unlikely sources as well. The Dallas Cowboys take out the Philadelphia Eagles, and I will spoil it now. Jalen Hurts won the MVP award. So to see him go out sad in the first round is kind of surprising, especially to the Cowboys. But shout out the Cowboys. They were the 3 seed for a reason. And the Kansas City Chiefs get that proverbial monkey off their back, finally beating Joe Burrow and these Bengals in the playoffs and advancing. This game must have been a hell of a watch as well. 2 of the 3 best quarterbacks in the AFC going at it. Sky Moore is an unsung hero for these Chiefs, especially in these playoffs, man, as we'll highlight later on. But yeah, Bengals, they were the 4 seed, so kind of made sense. And then our division rival, Green Bay Packers, sadly, they do defeat Tom Brady and the Bucks by a pretty comfortable margin, 45-27. Um, Obviously, we're not going to be rooting for the Packers to be good in the playoffs, but you got to give respect where it's due. Aaron Rodgers, absolutely insane game. Tom Brady did it as much as he could, but when Aaron Rodgers is playing like that, it's hard to beat him, man. Tom Brady did score a rushing touchdown, though. Like I said, he did everything he could. He tried his best. Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs both went over 160 yards. Watson had 3 touchdowns, 192 yards. That doesn't even make any sense. Yeah, he's a beast. We know what Christian Watson's capable of. And even Romeo Doubs, he went for 200 yards in our last game, so. But yeah, those are the teams that move on. Now we get to the divisional round where the Broncos edge out the Titans 20-17. Derrick Henry did all he could, but the Broncos were 15-2 this year. They were the 1 seed for a reason, the best team in football during this regular season. So it makes sense that they're going to punch their ticket to the AFC Championship game. The first season with Russell Wilson has gone perfectly so far. Now, the Green Bay Packers go up against the Minnesota Vikings and beat them on the road. The Vikings were the 1 seed, and unlike the Broncos, the Vikings are first-round exits. Kirk Cousins had 2 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers, another pretty stellar day, over 360 yards passing. He's been on a tear, an absolute tear in these playoffs. Aaron Jones got a little bit going, but Dalvin Cook did not. Only 15 carries. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But back to this game, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs. I mean, this is maybe the best receiving duo in the league. They combined for over 200 yards and a touchdown in this game. Not many sacks, but how about this? Josh Metellus, the safety, had a 67-yard interception return for a touchdown. That must have been pretty cool to see. Now, how about this game? Overtime classic between the Bills and the Chiefs, with the Bills this time coming out on top. Josh Allen gets the better of Pat Mahomes this time. I mean, both these quarterbacks played an insane game, but Josh Allen had 460 plus yards, also had a rushing touchdown. Yeah, Josh Allen's a monster. I mean, what can you say? These are 2 of the best teams in football. It stinks that they had to play in the divisional round, but how about Stefon Diggs? My goodness. You want to talk about playoff performances for the ages. Stefon Diggs is having one of them right now. And Sky Moore, again, had another 100-yard touchdown game, but this time it wasn't enough to secure a victory. In overtime, the Bills probably received the ball first and ended up winning, scoring a touchdown. Both teams were phenomenal, but somebody had to lose, and it was the Chiefs. Moving on now back to the NFC, the Arizona Cardinals outlast the Cowboys 38-35. Both quarterbacks had a great day. I mean, shout out Dak Prescott and Kyler Murray. The Cardinals did not really have much of a run game with Alex Madison, but Darrell Williams broke a 72-yard rushing touchdown in this game. Madison did score twice, though, but his longest run was, 8 or 9 yards, so he didn't do well. Didn't even average 2 yards carry. But Darrell Williams was there to save the day. And Hollywood Brown, once again, over 130 yards, 2 scores. And how about Rondale Moore, the former second-round pick, over 120 yards as well for the Victor Arizona Cardinals. Pretty crazy to see, man. These games are high scoring, a lot of offense, not much defense. That's the age we're in the NFL, man. Speaking of a lot of offense and no defense, the Bills and Broncos go in overtime. Both teams score in overtime, but the Bills eventually score a touchdown the second time they get the ball and win 44-38, an overtime classic between Josh Allen, between Russell Wilson, and these Bills and Broncos. The Broncos were the 1 seed, but they get ousted by the 2-seeded Buffalo Bills. Both quarterbacks had rushing touchdowns. I mean, these guys did everything in their power to try and win this game, man. And it was enough. But again, somebody had to lose, and this time it was the Bills, or excuse me, the Broncos. So Bills, back-to-back incredible wins, and they're punching their ticket to the Super Bowl, baby. The Buffalo Bills are in the Super Bowl, and it's Super Bowl or bust for the Bills this year. You know, they brought in Von Miller. It made sense. And the Green Bay Packers sadly defeat the Cardinals 21-19, where the Cardinals could not convert a 2-point conversion to tie the game at the end. Aaron Rodgers played pretty badly in this one. Kyler Murray absolutely outdueled him, but it still wasn't enough. Aaron Jones had 100 yards and a touchdown. Alex Madison got going a little bit more, but still not ideal from a running back one. DeAndre Hopkins was the leading receiver for the Cardinals this time. The Cardinals actually did a good job, probably better than any team I've seen at containing Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. Hollywood Brown did score a touchdown, just 47 yards though. But yeah, even Andy Isabella scored a touchdown this one, man. This was a very close game. I wish the Cardinals would have won, and what probably made the biggest difference was that the Green Bay Packers had 2 forced fumble recoveries. I don't know if that's because of Kyler. Defensive score from the Packers is probably what made the biggest difference. And now, drum roll please. The Green Bay Packers have defeated the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
It ain't so, but it is. The Packers are the Super Bowl champions. They edge out the Buffalo Bills, who tried to come back late, but eventually is just, you know, too much, too little, too late. Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen both had incredible games in this Super Bowl. This must have been an incredible Super Bowl to watch. But yeah, man. The defending Super Bowl champions next season will be in our division. And I really hope we get to play the Packers week 1. That would be a lot of fun, especially given that we beat them the last time we played them. But these are the stats from the game. Yeah, man. Just kind of distraught, to be honest, that the Packers actually won the Super Bowl. It's unfortunate, but it's going to make us work even harder to prevent that happening in the future. But this is the entire bracket. This is how the playoffs unfolded. Funny enough, the Packers and the Bills actually had the 2 highest scoring games out of these playoffs, with the Packers scoring 45 wildcard weekend and then the Bills scoring 44 in the AFC Championship game. But so it was good. It was good. This is a pretty cool playoff. So just an unfortunate ending, not gonna lie. We're moving on now to the award winners. I spoiled it earlier. Jalen Hurts won the MVP for the Eagles. He did not have the best performance as a passer, though it was still really good, don't get me wrong. But what really did it was that he scored 14 rushing touchdowns and had over 500 rushing yards. An absolute masterclass of a season. And how about this? Cole Beasley was his leading receiver. Devonta Smith led in touchdowns, and A.J. Brown, the guy that they paid a first-round pick for, was 4th on the team in terms of receiving yards, surprisingly. Nate Hackett won Coach of the Year, which makes sense. The Broncos went 15-2, but it's funny how it did not go like that at all in real life. Now, going back to Dalvin Cook, this is what I want to mention earlier. Dalvin had 389 carries during the regular season. And second in this, like, look at this. Kirk Cousins was the second highest running back from a carry perspective with 22 this season. That's madness. That's insanity. They did trade Alex Madison early in the season, but yeah, man. And on top of that, he had 84 catches 700 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, yeah, no kidding, he's going to tire out in the playoffs. So, the fact he only got 15 carries in the playoffs kind of makes sense. Danielle Hunter was the Defensive Player of the Year on the NFC side. He actually tied the record for most sacks in a single season with 22. And his place is in the history books now. His name is in the history books. Romeo Doubs was the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Christian Watson was not far behind. Both these guys, like I said before, probably the best receiving duo in the league. Just look at these numbers, man. Look at these catches, these yards, these touchdowns. And then even Allen Lazard had over 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. That's an incredible output from Aaron Rodgers this season. But it takes a massive drop off. After these three, the next best is 397 with Rob Tonyan. So Aiden Hutchinson on our Detroit Lions won the Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was a stud, had 16 sacks, 29 tackles for loss. He also had 4 forced fumbles. This dude is a monster, and he's just getting started. His best days are ahead of him. He's just 22 years of age. And, dude, 16 sacks as a rookie? He's already X Factor, already 87 overall. At 22 years old, that's insane. I can't wait to see what he does. DJ Chark was the best receiver on the NFC side, and dare I say, in the NFL. Sure, he didn't lead in terms of receiving yards, but if you look at the averages, he averaged 19, almost 20 yards a catch, and he averaged 100 yards a game. The only receiver this season to average 100 yards per game. And he led the league in touchdowns with 16 of them, despite missing 1 game. So, DJ Chark had a phenomenal season. He's going to secure the bag. We're going to have to pay this man a lot of money. But if he's putting up seasons like this, it's well worth it. At just 25 years old, he's still arguably not even in his prime, which is scary to think about. He stayed healthy for the most part this year, and he's going to be rewarded. I also wanted to highlight Azeez Ojulari was second for best linebacker. We do remember that he went apeshit against us one of these weeks. These are the AFC awards. Breece Hall, Devin Lloyd for the rookies. Pat Mahomes, of course, the best quarterback. Derrick Henry, the king, of course, the best running back. Christian Kirk, though, surprised me with this one. The best receiver in the AFC. And if you take a look at things, it kind of makes sense. Like, sure, Jamar Chase has a little bit more receiving yards, but in the game, they always prioritize the touchdowns, and Christian Kirk led the AFC receivers in touchdowns, so makes sense. Next, we take a look at some records here. Russell Wilson etches his name into the record books with 5,205 yards passing. Aaron Rodgers had 44 touchdown passes. Derrick Henry is in the top 4 now, and also top 6 twice. He's insane. He's not human. He is one of one. Javonte Williams had 23 rushing touchdowns this season. Out of nowhere. Absolutely out of nowhere. But now, let's talk about our team, Jared Goff. Of course, the stat that sticks out is the 45 interceptions. That can't happen. I do think most of those were early in the season when we were on our losing streak. I felt like he got better as the season went on, but we're definitely going to look at the quarterback spot in this offseason, see if we can improve. DeAndre Swift was pretty good. I liked him a lot. Jamal Williams as well. We used him more later on in the season, and we started winning because of it. He had 8 touchdowns. So, I like our running back room. I think it's fine. I don't think we have to upgrade anything here. I think we can keep it as is. And then at receiver, of course, DJ Chark was our best player. Dare I say, one of the best players in the NFL this year. But other than him, TJ Hockenson did have some pretty big games. Amon-Ra St. Brown was hit or miss. So maybe we look at a receiver, a wide receiver too, that can create separation, which is Jameson Williams. I can't wait to get Jameson Williams back next year. Malcolm Rodriguez, our 6th round rookie linebacker, proved to be an absolute stud. He's almost an 80 overall. He's star development, day 1 starter now. Led our team in tackles. He was awesome, man. I love this guy. I love developing him. Moving on to our corner situation, Amani Oruwariye and Mike Hughes are both not under contract next season. So we're going to have to make some tough decisions. We might draft a corner early on. I don't know what we're going to do at corner, but that's definitely one of our glaring positions that we have to pay attention to this offseason. Of course, Aiden Hutchinson leads our team in sacks. Aleem McNeil, Charles Harris, Julian Okwara also pitched in pretty well. Levi Muzurike didn't really do much. He was our starting defensive tackle, so maybe we look to upgrade that defensive tackle spot opposite Aleem McNeil. Muzurike is a solid run defender, but definitely not somebody who's going to be going after the passer very often. Here are some season stats, the quarterbacks. And like I said before, Jalen Hurts is not high up on the list in terms of passing touchdowns and passing yardage. But again, when you factor in the fact that he threw 4,000 yards, 30 plus touchdowns, with the fact that he had 500 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns, it kind of makes sense. Also, look at Derek Carr, 34 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's an Aaron Rodgers stat line. That's pretty impressive. Derrick Henry was an absolute unit, over 2,000 yards, 15 scores, averaged 121 yards rushing per game, no fumbles. Of course, we talked about Dalvin Cook earlier. These are the rest of the running backs. So, oh yeah, Javonte Williams, 23 rushing touchdowns, and Kamara had 20 as well. Just absolutely insane seasons from those two. Even James Robinson, Josh Jacobs were close to 20 touchdowns, so unreal. These are the receivers. We highlighted them a little bit earlier. Just going further down the list, of course, you see names like Tyreek and Devontae. Donovan Peoples-Jones may be surprising. Cole Beasley for sure surprising. And look at Allen Lazard, also had 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. Like, that doesn't even make sense, bro. Because they had Watson, they had Dubs, and then Lazard still puts those numbers up. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I also thought this was pretty funny. The Bears have 3 offensive linemen in the top 5 of most sacks allowed, which is just poetic. Absolutely hilarious. Chicago. But that's the recap, guys. The final season recap is here on the screen currently. I will have the offseason out sometime soon. Hopefully sometime this week. As well as a couple other videos regarding the first season. So that's the video, guys. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Make sure you like, comment down below. Yeah, guys, that's the video. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support. See you on the next one. Peace.